Where's my order? Does anyone know how to find my order? How can I find my order? Break free from customer support monotony. Welcome to Intercom, the customer support platform that uses chatbots, shared inboxes, apps, and more. Intercom's business messenger resolves questions that can be answered automatically, so customer support feels less like Groundhog Day and more like help is on the way. Go to intercom.com/support to learn more.
With more time at home, your culinary skills have improved, but don't stop there. The selection and expertise at Best Buy can help you get the latest tech to take your skills to the next level. Cooking chops unlocked. Details at bestbuy.com.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Today is Tuesday, September 21st, 2021. We begin with images and video coming from the border showing just how America treats black immigrants and asylum seekers. We're going to cover that and so many more other stories that are critical not only to our community, to this nation, and to the world. We begin this morning with On the Clock with Georgia Ford.
More states are moving to challenge Roe versus Wade following Texas's ban on abortions after 6 weeks. This is something that is starting to circulate in Mississippi specifically. They are now going to the Supreme Court to seek a ban on abortions after 15 weeks. And many anticipated this. I want you guys to take a look at coverage coming out of Mississippi with the very latest on what they're hoping to do with women's rights there.
Important news just into CNN. The Supreme Court will hear a very important Mississippi abortion case on December 1st. That tees up one of the most substantive cases of the term. The justices are being asked to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Mississippi law bans abortions after 15 weeks, and it has no exceptions for rape or incest. And it punishes physicians if doctors perform an abortion procedure outside the parameters of the law. Those doctors could then have their medical license suspended or revoked and be fined. Again, the Supreme Court, December 1st, hearing a challenge to the Mississippi abortion law.
Now, Ben, we know that in Texas, they've already passed this law that will ban abortions after 6 weeks. It caused a stir across the entire country, people even going as far as to put systems in place to help women travel so that they could go to surrounding states to get an abortion if they need it. But now, seeing Mississippi pursue a similar law, I mean, the broader question is here, will Roe versus Wade be overturned?
Well, we certainly know that that is the goal of the conservative movement, the so-called pro-life movement. And I definitely refer to them that way because in no form or fashion can we interpret what this movement is doing in the year of our Lord 2021 and consider them to be actually pro-life. That's the goal. And this, Georgia, I want to be sure people understand that this has been the culmination of a concerted effort over 40 years of diligent planning, financing, and all of the Machiavellian machinations, that you would expect from people who have enough money and power to put people on the Supreme Court. So this has been their goal, and I do believe they're going for the gold right here.
Absolutely. And, to be transparent, this is definitely an issue that affects Black women. I mean, when you look at the statistics, disproportionately, Black women are seeking the services for a number of different reasons. And so to have the choice taken away from a woman on whether or not she wants to carry a child, I mean, you look at the most severe cases, and we've talked about this a lot, in instances of incest or in instances of rape, right? But on the other side of that coin, Ben, I mean, the people who are advocating for this are also the people who are saying that they want to maintain their choice of getting vaccinated. But then on the other hand, they're trying to take a woman's choice away of her own body.
That's right. And that's an absolutely brilliant observation, because they want the freedom to do whatever they want to in this pandemic, even if that means they have the right to get someone else sick and infect someone else. They're not asking just for autonomy over their bodies with regards to the vaccine. They're asking for the ability to infect others. Meanwhile, they're trying to rob women of their right to their same autonomy. Here's the thing, Georgia. What I've recognized with a lot of these conservatives is that this is like the only opportunity for them to even pretend like they're actually moral people. Because every other part of their body politic, or rather their politics in general, is aligned with something that is clearly immoral. These are the same people who support the death penalty, the same people who support war, the same people who support the pro-COVID policies. And so the only opportunity that they get on the international stage and pretend as if they're moral is in this particular fight.
I just don't understand how you ban abortions, but then you don't have parental leave enacted as a human right, or maternity leave at minimum. When you look at other countries, other countries are giving women a year off, 6 months off. We are the only developed country that doesn't have a mandated maternity leave. I want to turn to Texas. There's a doctor there who actually defied the abortion bill. Take a listen at this.
Not simply testing the waters, one Texas doctor is jumping straight in. Dr. Alan Braid, a physician who provides abortion care in San Antonio, wrote an op-ed published in the Washington Post, in which he reveals that he recently performed an abortion in violation of the state's strict new fetal heartbeat law. Though the woman was still in her first trimester, her pregnancy was beyond the state's new limit. Braid, who has been practicing for more than 40 years, said, quote, "I can't just sit back and watch us return to 1972. In accordance with the new law, which the Supreme Court opted not to block, any citizen could now sue Braid for performing the abortion. Braid says in the op-ed that he understands by providing the abortion and sharing it publicly, he is taking a personal risk, but says, quote, "It's something I believe in strongly." The abortion rights advocacy group Center for Reproductive Rights has pledged to defend him in any legal proceedings. The group is already representing Braid's clinics in a separate suit against the new law.
So in other words, they are getting ready to go into a legal battle. And I'm sure if Mississippi gets their bill passed by the Supreme Court, also, they're going to see similar strategies by doctors who are going to challenge this decision, because ultimately, if Roe versus Wade is not overturned, then there are some discrepancies in the current laws.
And one of the big things that has to happen, and I'm not sure if we have the political will to do it, is for state by state for there to be protections and for there to be federal protections through actual legislation. Because so long as we leave these critical decisions in the hands of radical justices that have an agenda, I want to be sure, Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and even Justice Kennedy, they all are a part of a system that is here to ensure that we move further and further to the right. So there's some critical rights that we cannot leave to decisions by the Supreme Court. They have to come through the form of legislation.
Absolutely, Ben. And I'll just throw this out there. When you look at the population shift that is expected to happen, people know we've been anticipating in this country that it will be what many say minority majority very soon. Mm-hmm. Banning abortions is going to expedite that process.
If that's what they want, I'm not really, there's so many angles to this, right? Because there's a large portion of us, even myself, who argue these points from the position of that's someone else's body and their autonomy and their right to do what they want to do. And regardless of any of our personal beliefs, when you advocate on the rights of someone else, you advocate for those rights. And if the sum total and the culmination of all these things, I think, Georgia, to your point, I think there are a lot of things that the conservatives are doing right now that are going to ensure that they are the smallest group or majority minority in this country. And so if we look at what's happening with COVID-19, they are executing their own agenda for white genocide, if you ask me.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I'd like to turn now. I know that you've been following a story this morning as well.
Yes, we're looking at yet again the Senate parliamentarian standing in the way, ostensibly, of progress. The Senate parliamentarian is a position that comes and makes recommendations about pieces of legislation that is passing through the Senate. And we have seen twice in this year alone how this parliamentarian is being used. I want to be sure, because this is not an attack on her, Elizabeth McDonough. She is the Senate parliamentarian. It is a hired position. It is not an elected position. But in a way, Georgia, we've seen that she's been used as a scapegoat yet again to justify the Democratic Party not delivering on some critical promises. We saw previously in the fight for 15. We see it now in the fight for a path to citizenship. And we see now the Democratic Party is taking a step back and saying, well, there's nothing that we can do. I want us to watch this clip of Chuck Schumer as he basically laments, saying it was a good fight, but because of this unelected position that only offers recommendations, the Senate parliamentarian, because of this, there's nothing that we could possibly do. Chuck Schumer.
Last night's ruling was extremely disappointing. It saddened me, it frustrated me, it angered me, because so many lives are at stake. But make no mistake, the fight continues. Senate Democrats have prepared alternative proposals. We'll be holding additional meetings with the parliamentarian in the coming days. I've worked very closely with my colleagues, including Chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Senator Durbin, as well as our four Latino senators, Padilla, Menendez, Lujan, and Cortez Masto. And we're going to continue our fight with the best options available to provide immigrants with a chance of obtaining lawful residence.
The problem is, Georgia, the Senate parliamentarian is a false hurdle. She makes recommendations, or he or whoever's holding that position at that time. And we are seeing yet again, while the Democrat, Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, is making it sound like they're going to do everything possible to get done what they say they want to get done. I'm sorry, one of those things means that you have the ability and the capacity, Vice President Kamala Harris, to override the Senate parliamentarian. So if we're really serious about getting these things done that you made campaign promises over, then you must consider in your arsenal to fight like the Republican Party fights. There are too many issues right now, not just this critical immigration issue, and we'll discuss what's happening in Haiti coming up in the next block, and along with Like It or Not. But as we see this entire thing crumbling in front of us, there are some critical issues that the Democratic Party must deliver on, or else the voters have literally no reason to go back to the booths.
See, and I feel like this is why so many people tune out on political issues, because it oftentimes feels like smoke and mirrors. You get these politicians who go up to the podium and they give these great speeches with all these promises. And then that's really the last that you hear of it. And so you talk about this entity that's supposed to be moving on this issue, but nothing much is getting done. And then also bringing in the vice president who has the power to override it or to push this entity forward. But she's not. I mean, even going back, there was something that Kamala said on immigration that I think disappointed a lot of people when she discouraged people to not come to the border, not, just stay home. Like, I don't think anybody expected that from her. And I don't think anybody expected her to be as quiet as she's being. I think that there has been a lot of opportunities for her to speak up on specific issues, especially issues pertaining to the Black community. And she has decided to be quiet. I feel like when Obama was in office, we heard from the First Lady more. She was more outspoken than Kamala is as vice president.
And you hit on something critical there, Georgia, the messaging that is coming from the White House through Kamala, as well as Vice President Kamala Harris. In addition to Jen Psaki, again, we're going to cover the images and the video that has come from Texas showing exactly what the United States of America looks like at our borders as it pertains to Black immigrants specifically. But as we listen to this language, I'm sorry, and we look at these images, I am absolutely sorry. It's getting difficult, more and more difficult to discern the difference between the Trump administration's policies on immigration and the Biden administration's policies, especially if they keep allowing these excuses, such as the Senate parliamentarian, to stop us dead in our tracks.
Well, and then when you talk about Trump's, former administration, some of the people who he appointed are still in office and they're still upholding those same values and that same racist rhetoric. So until the Biden administration cleans house, we're going to continue to have opposition on, on different bills that would move us forward and different efforts and initiatives that would move us forward. We're going to continue to get opposition. Think about right before Trump was out of office, he fought tooth and nail to appoint someone to the Supreme Court. And now, even in seeing how critical the Supreme Court is on Roe versus Wade and issues on abortion, and not just now Texas, but also Mississippi, and what a critical role that his appointee has played in making those decisions. And so until the Biden administration figures out how to go in and clean house, Trump, he definitely was strategic in passing the baton and making sure that people were still in power that could uphold his values.
Donald Trump's imprint on the judiciary is going to be something that we're going to feel for centuries if this country is lucky enough to be around that long. They have put a legacy there that is going to be impacting us for generations to come. And if the Democratic Party and our leaders are not willing to fight like hell the way Republicans have been fighting over the last 50 years to execute their agenda, if the Democratic Party keeps saying things like, we can't possibly overcome the filibuster, we can't possibly overcome the Senate parliamentarian, then we're going to have to make the conclusion that they are a part of this machine and not fighting against it. And I think maybe, we should have made that conclusion a long time ago.
I have been saying for a long time that potentially we need a alternative party, because the Democratic Party, I don't think, represents the Black community as well as it should. And I feel like the Black community has done more for the Democratic Party than the Democratic Party has done for us.
If it was Sunday morning, I would tune an organ because you're preaching, and we see it. It's so evident by the virtue of the fact that we delivered the country, and we specifically delivered Georgia in January in those special elections. Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, we delivered. Black folks delivered.
Absolutely.
Now, what have they delivered to us?
Absolutely. The one thing I will say that has surprised me about the Biden administration is that the way that they've activated the Department of Justice, the fact that there are currently 3 police departments that I'm aware of that have federal investigations ongoing right now in their departments due to either malpractice or misconduct or, a fatal encounter with someone from the Black community. So I will say that is the one thing that I think the Biden administration has been moving silently on, that they've activated the Department of Justice as a vehicle to investigate some of these police departments, but they have been dragging their feet with passing the George Floyd Policing Act. So while on one hand we're making progress, on the other hand, I still feel like we're being held back.
That's right. They give and take. It's carrot and the stick. He pulls us out of Afghanistan, and then we do a drone strike in Kabul and kill an entire family. Like, there's reasons to applaud the Biden administration, but we have to be cognizant that that does not mean that we must applaud them on everything that they are doing. And here's some critical issues that they need to step up on.
Yeah. Well, I want to turn now to Virginia, where there was a school shooting. We're going to take a look at coverage on this issue.
In Newport News, Virginia, police cars and anxious parents converged on a high school after shots were fired.
Police were on the scene outside the Southern Virginia High School just after gunfire rang out this morning.
11:38 today, we responded to a call of a shooting inside here at Heritage High School.
Two 17-year-olds were shot and wounded, one in the face and one in the leg. Officials said that they were targeted by a teenager they knew.
Both of those shooting victims are 17. I have a male that has been shot in the side of the face and a female that's been shot in the lower leg. Neither one are considered life-threatening.
The shooter was at large for several hours before police made an arrest this afternoon and recovered the weapon. Investigators believe the suspect knew exactly who he was going after.
You know, when I look at these school shootings, it breaks my heart, you know, going back to Sandy Hook, and this is learned behavior. These guns are guns that these kids are getting from usually their parents. But every time you see this, you know, gun violence within a school, a mass school shooting, you know, it's like a microcosm of our broader society, what's happening in broader society, even, you know, looking at the Proud Boys and these different hate groups, and it's learned behavior. And these are things that are 100% preventable.
Yeah. And you diagnosed it properly, Georgia. We live in a sick society, and it is so sick that this story barely was a blip in the national conversation. And we've been on this descent. Clearly since Columbine, but when I saw how this country did not react to Sandy Hook, you mentioned Sandy Hook, the way we did not react to those precious babies being taken from us just before Christmas, I knew that there was a sickness in this country that goes far beyond what I believe we are able to address physically, but there are so many organizations that are on the case.
Yeah, I mean, we've normalized violence and not just, you know, tolerating it in our schools, but even when you look at the way that police and military responding right here on American soil, like we have normalized a militarized response to protesting, especially when it's Black bodies that are out there. But in this, it's like it's become so normalized that, it barely makes national news when there's a high school shooting. I mean, to normalize violence to that capacity. I mean, we move beyond kids playing, you know, violent video games. You literally have kids going into these schools. You have two teenagers who are wounded, two injured, you know, that their lives are never going to be the same. And I remember doing an interview with, there was a group, Moms Demand. I think
exactly the organization I was thinking of. Yeah.
What is the name of the organization?
It's Moms Demand Action. Moms Demand is
Moms Demand Action. Yeah. And I mean, they have done so much research and they've compiled so much data that there are red flags oftentimes when these shootings happen that the public systems ignore. And having been a parent who experienced a student giving a death threat at my daughter's school in a public system where the principal did nothing, the teachers did nothing, the superintendent did nothing, that they have certain protocols that are in place to dismiss these threats as though they're not serious. If there's not a weapon that's discovered, they can say, well, we don't think the student is capable of carrying this threat out. And they just dismiss it and they let the kid keep coming to school as though nothing ever happened. How do you have a death threat that's been given and then there's no recourse when we continuously see these high school shootings and even elementary school shootings?
That's right. And, you know, I just have to say here, solidarity with all teachers and staff workers at these schools who, because, George, I've been in the unfortunate position of having to break up fights at some of these schools, and your body is on the line. These teachers' body, these other students, their bodies are physically on the line. And I'm glad to know that no one died yesterday. But we live in a twisted society that really requires a very high body count before we actually pay attention. And I hope that that's something that we as a society can reject and say that every single gun violence incident is something that we should be appalled by, because it's something that does not have to happen in this country.
Yeah, and when you look at the recourse being, okay, well, we're going to mandate active shooter training in schools.
Yeah.
You know, when that is the solution, like we're just going to teach kids the tactics and the tools that they need to survive an active shooter on campus. Why are we not looking? And when you look at Moms Demand Action, a lot of what they're trying to crack down on is gun control. You know, they do want to give people access to guns, but they want to crack down and look at how easy it is to access them and put certain laws and restrictions in place when they're kept in households with children for this very reason. The one thing I will say that was great about the shutdown during the pandemic, Ben, is that we had no school shootings. I remember after, before the pandemic, it felt like we had one every week. Yeah. And then when they did the shutdown, I was like, wow, the environment is better because people aren't driving to and from work every day, polluting the earth. I mean, the world is better. America's better because there's no school shootings, But wow, like, is that what it takes? It takes virtual learning in order to stop shootings from happening in our schools?
A couple of things, because you hitting on everything that we have to think about. These schools, and I want to be sure that the solidarity that I have with the teachers, because they're in the thick of it, the administrations, the system itself has not only put our children at risk of being killed by COVID-19, but also by gun violence. And so in the midst of a pandemic, they're having to violate social distancing policies so that they can practice mass shooter drills. I think we are at a point in this country where we should clearly understand that that system is inadequate for the task that it is at hand right now. And it's not because of the teachers. It's not because of the people who volunteer and do all that work. It's because of the role that the school system plays for this system. And that's why this system has left us completely vulnerable to gun violence and COVID-19.
Absolutely. And when you look at the process to get a gun, it is very easy. It is very easy to get a gun. And those who want to have a gun in their home, that is your right. But when you have children in your home, if you're not taking the extra precaution of making sure that you have some type of gun safe, if you're not making sure that it's put away somewhere where they can't find it or access it, you are just as responsible for when these shootings happen. Because, the parent, I think, and I don't know what has happened previously in these school shootings, but whoever the gun owner is, I feel like should be just as responsible as the kid who took the gun and brought it to the school to use it.
And I think also when you look at the health of our community and our tribe, to ensure that, because I'm thinking of so many of the instances, the shooter kills the person who they got the gun from. I believe that was the case in Sandy Hook, but you're absolutely right. There's so many levels of culpability, and we just have to get to the bottom of this.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, what is coming up next on the Benjamin Dixon Show?
Coming up next on the Benjamin Dixon Show, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into these questions of the Senate parliamentarian and how this cannot be used as an excuse for us to not get critical things done for this country. And we'll also have some clips from Right Wing Watch. The evangelicals are up to it again. We're going to cover that and a lot more coming up next.
All right, Ben. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Where's my order? Does anyone know how to find my order? How can I find my order? Break free from customer support monotony. Welcome to Intercom, the customer support platform that uses chatbots, shared inboxes, apps, and more. Intercom's business messenger resolves questions that can be answered automatically, so customer support feels less like Groundhog Day and more like help is on the way. Go to intercom.com/support to learn more.
Welcome. We're here with Jess, who is enjoying a cozy night in.
That's right, and she's lighting up... Is that candle?
Triple wick pumpkin spiced? Yes.
Oh, she is setting the harvest mood.
Is that a tasteful autumnal wreath?
Someone's been to Marshall's again.
Well, with quality home decor at great prices, what's stopping her? Oh, and a cozy blanket to top it all off.
That is so fall. better get to Marshall's.
Fabulous brands.
Feel good prices at Marshall's.
Good morning, everybody. You know who it is. You know the voice, you know the sound. It's your boy DJ Exclusive. James Bubba Williams is in the building. Good morning, everybody. What's going on, y'all?
Try your luck, test me in again, we let it rain. Keep on start us up. Got that black and white that yin.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Hope y'all doing good this morning, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Lars Strada, Afraid Not, Brother Chuck Diesel, Roll the Dragon, Barbara Ebron, Six Dragon, Daddy Jeremiah, Safe with Lily. Good morning, y'all. Blue Bird on my shoulder, everybody. Good morning, y'all. Make sure you grab your coffee. Your coffee, your drink, whatever it is you need to get your morning started, y'all. Let's go. Good morning.
Like a turban. Yeah, these all square like Irvin. Yeah, we grew up in the hood, no Suburbans. If I say I need my money, then it's urgent. Yeah, they call me.
Alicia, hey, good morning, y'all. Angela Newman, good morning. Love you too, Laura. Good morning. Jack, good morning.
I'm dishing this. Yeah, they talk a lot of, but we really with the lame. Always gonna be reaching for they hit, smoking like a clip. They can never catch me slipping. Every time your girl around, she be watch the way I'm dripping. Try your luck, test me in the
Sunny Right, Bailey Lyle. Good morning, y'all.
Black and white, they gang. Mr. Officer, please don't search us. We don't got a thing. Tell her park it up. Then that be poking out them jeans up and sparking up like the fireworks. I keep the flame. Heard you parking up. It's the
Brother Tiger. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm charging up. They can't keep up. Got them looking drained. Now they walking up, trying to put the face to the name. I'm in flex mode with the best though. That's a major key, that's a chess move. I'm your favorite G, I think it's best. Yo. Stop with all the grilling, I'm on jet fuel. Taking off, clear the runway, now they cannot clip my wings. Yeah, they suck, they ain't homie, they ain't even on the scene. Play it smart, they don't know me, they just know what they see. What it costs to get flea, but this style ain't free. That's
tonight, pulling your hair, baby.
Brandy Rubble, good morning. Happy birthday, Brandy. Happy birthday to you. Shout out Brandy Rubble, y'all. It's her birthday this morning, Brandy. Good morning and happy birthday.
Track mine for you.
Boondocks Dragon, I appreciate you. Right? Green, I got my Hulk on today. What's going on? Shout out Brother Latif. Good morning, Latif. Patricia Kevz, good morning, y'all. On and on it goes. Good morning. Angela, Track Natasha, what's going on, y'all? Good morning. Ear Hustler, what's going on? Good morning to you.
You love me before I go. You love me before I go. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, baby. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it.
Freddie Sadler says, Sandifer says, I'm ready for the jokes. All right, Freddie, I got you. Cruella, good morning. Sophia Williams. Hey, Miss Sophia. Hey, stop. Good morning, Miss Sophia. Hey, Miss Sophia. Courtney the SLP, good morning. Bake Reedman Zeta says, good morning, Bubba. Have you heard Lil Nas X's new album? Dollar Slime Slime is so good. Hell yes, it is one of my favorites. You got that dollar slime. I'm the same dollar slime. That's my jam right there, if y'all know. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming next on the Benjamin Dixon Show. Y'all stay tuned, all right?
Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, babe. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything, yeah. Do it.
King Jafet Jofar, good morning.
Do it.
Good morning, Mom and Daddy. Good morning.
Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, babe. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything.
All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for my brother from another mother. Y'all, welcome again. Benjamin Dixon, Dwayne, roll that intro.
show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday, September 21st, 2021. I am here with none other than the exclusive himself, DJ Exclusive. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. So how you doing this morning, man? I'm a giggle box today, but I'm good. I'm here.
Hey, man. I might join you on that train simply because the stories that we have to cover, man, are heavy.
Heavy, bro. I
But
saw. Yes.
Before I even get there, man, shout out to everyone who's watching Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all those places. And James, thank you for being like one of the things that happened as we were transitioning from being YouTubers only to doing what we're doing now. No shade to YouTubers at all, because that's where we are. But it's the community, man. It's like the ability to connect and to talk to the audience and know people by name. And then when they're not there, you kind of, and so James, that's like one of the things that you do, man. It's like you cultivate this community and you know when people are missing, you know what I mean? What good is
absolutely.
If we don't notice when each other's gone.
Right. Absolutely. You know, I love interacting and talking with everybody. It's a small family. You know, I have a severely extended family and I love it. I'm here for it.
and I was like, I said, hold on. I said, Self, now I got to get a little bit more participatory in these patron parties because, you know, if the only person they are seeing and talking to is James, then I don't know if I even got a show no more because
Man, what are you talking about? The people are always here for you, man. Like you, man. You the ringleader. Bro, you like the little bad when the baby's kids. You like the ringleader. You always one that's climbing on top of the refrigerator, and I'm the one that's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go up there with him. I guess.
You the one to catch me when I fall, man. You the one to catch me when I fall.
I'm here, brother.
Hey, man. That said, let's take a look at some serious happenings. I mentioned this briefly in the last segment with Georgia Ford talking about the drone strike. The closing salvo in the 20-year war that we just left out of Afghanistan. We did not leave without a parting gift in the form of an entire family being murdered by a drone strike. I want to take a listen to this clip as we now understand the full scale of the quote-unquote mistake, the mistake that rings in my ears as a war crime. Let's take a listen to it.
I'm here to brief the results of the investigation I directed following the report of civilian casualties from our strike in Kabul on 29 August. Having thoroughly reviewed the findings of the investigation and the supporting analysis by interagency partners, I am now convinced that as many as 10 civilians, including up to 7 children, were tragically killed in that strike. Moreover, we now assess that it is unlikely that the vehicle and those who died were associated with ISIS-K or were a direct threat to U.S. forces. I offer my profound condolences to the family and friends of those who were killed. This strike was taken in the earnest belief that it would prevent an imminent threat to our forces and the evacuees at the airport. But it was a mistake, and I offer my sincere apology. As the combatant commander, I am fully responsible for this strike and this tragic outcome.
I appreciate the responsibility that he's taking, right? I do know underneath perhaps the last administration, they wouldn't have said anything about it, you know? Yeah. So maybe we could look at this as progress. The United States is owning up to its war crime. He didn't call it that. Those are my words. But James, you know, bro, you've been on this journey with me for at least a year plus. Do you see how barbaric this country is when we just take a step back and see what they've been doing on the international stage?
Absolutely, Ben. And I really think the only reason that they actually said something is there was probably some information or something related to that drone strike that leaked, and they went on and got ahead of it. And they put a general out there to give that apology and talk about what happened. So I really think that they were trying to put out fires because it was going to get leaked, and the people were going to find out eventually. But that is just going off of bad intel. Basically, that's what happened. You went off of bad intel, followed the wrong car for miles, launched the missile without verifying, and here we are. 10 people, 7 kids.
Yeah, man. 7 kids running out to greet, I believe, their uncle, if I'm not mistaken. This is not President Biden. Let this be your last drone strike. How about that?
Yes.
How about that? Because even if this is your first one and it went this way, then that shows us that this is something we should not be engaged in, President. Because if your intelligence gets children killed, then what about the barbarity of the next administration? Maybe this was simply a failure of intelligence. Why would we leave intact a system in which your best laid efforts in the sincerity of your heart, in order to protect the lives of Americans, you end up killing children? What then of the Trump administration? What of the next Trump? So it's not going to be enough for me this time around for y'all to say, oh, well, we're sorry. How about never again? Maybe we should have done this one last, James. Let's see if we can do a good shift here. Let's go to Mitch McConnell, our friend in the Senate, our friend from Kentucky. Turtle, we got Turtle. But you know who does the very best impersonation of Mitch McConnell? Mundell. No, Mundell. I stole it from Mundell. We believe over the next 3 years, there are no more. I stole that straight from Mundell. Let's listen to this clip as the minority leader, Mitch McConnell, slams the Democrats' $3.5 trillion infrastructure package. Now, we've already discussed that package. $3.5 trillion is not even enough. That should be the floor. And they're treating it not only some Democrats, Joe Manchin is treating that as if it's the ceiling. And now Mitch McConnell is treating it as if it is socialism. You see the absurdity here? Let's take a listen to Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
Look, I could go on all day. The reckless taxing and spending spree that Democrats are riding behind closed doors is shaping up to be exactly what they promised. An effort to exploit this terrible but temporary pandemic as a Trojan horse for permanent socialism.
I'm sorry, James. I know it's... Trojan horse for socialism. Everything is socialism to them. I'm actually kind of glad at this stage because I remember like back in 2008, you couldn't say the word socialism. You couldn't say democratic socialism. You couldn't say any of that because Americans had just come out of an entire generation of red baiting where everything that wasn't McDonaldized or Burger Kingized, commodified and capitalized on was instantly labeled as communism. Right. So at least we're in this place now where everybody's yelling socialism. Nobody even cares. Not Chuck. Oops. Freudian slip. Nobody even cares, Mitch. Nobody cares because here's the thing. When you talk about infrastructure, I'm thinking about the fact that like a couple of minutes before showtime this morning, the power grid out here did its thing yet again, and I didn't even know if I was going to be able to go live. Now, that's a first world problem, right? I'm thinking about people who are in the city, man, how many miles do you have to go to get a decent MARTA stop, right? And then how many miles you got to go in any city to get some public transportation? The thing is, James, that they're trying to scare us away from the very things that we need to continue going to work, to continue going out to play, to continue going out and consume. They don't even want us to be able to drive on good roads as we go to their factories.
You're right, Ben. And the first thing is like it's a Trojan horse for socialism. Why does it always have to be an underlying root cause or something that's... Come on, can y'all just fix this stuff, please, for lack of a better word? Because
if we got to go to socialism to actually get stuff fixed, don't they know the people will turn their eyes and their gaze to the left, I mean, come on, let's be real. If this is the best that y'all could do, these raggedy roads, if the apex of whiteness and capitalism and white supremacy and the Western civilization, if this is the apex of it, then maybe the people should look to the East. But I digress. Let's go on. Let's move on, man. This show is particularly triggering, man. It's like, hey, Ben, here are all the things that animate you. Let's go to some evangelicals.
David knew what he was doing. Let me get Ben triggered today.
This is what you get when you trust a white man with your content.
I hate you, man. I hate you.
Shout out to David.
Shout out, David. Love you, David. Good morning.
Listen, David is high key the top producer in the game, and so we want to make sure we. Good morning. Let's go to these evangelicals, man. I think the first one I want to go to is Brenda Kuhnerman. And now she is the wife of one of the other Kuhnermans that we've covered on this show. And I want you to listen as they talk about, or she talks about, just completely obliterating the separation of church and state. And they don't even care about their tax-exempt status. Let's take a listen in.
This nation was founded as a Christian nationalist form of government built upon biblical Judeo-Christian principles. Do you know the reason that churches are tax exempt in this country? Because our founders went to the book of Ezra 7, you can read it. When they built the temple, they came before the government, and it was agreed by the government at the time, secular government. It was agreed upon that the temple should not be taxed. You know, most churches couldn't pay their mortgage if they had to pay a 20% corporate tax. There are churches in inner cities, places where they're feeding poor people. They're not rolling in money. We have a president, a real president. In my lifetime, he's the only president that even dared challenge the lying Johnson Amendment that intimidated pastors behind their pulpit. Those days are over. We're not going to be intimidated. We had a president, still have the real president that stood with Israel. Genesis 12. If you stand with Israel and bless Israel, God said, I'll bless you. We will not stop talking about fraud. We're not going to stop talking about the lies. I don't care what they write in the newspaper. The Bible said no weapon formed against you can prosper.
Now, James.
Man, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It is okay to laugh these people to scorn. But I want to make sure that we peep the game here. Because if you just kind of tune in for a couple seconds, it's going to sound like something that might get you excited, especially if you come in at the last end part of it, where she's like, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. You know what I mean? You say that and you're going to get black folks all over the country like, they're going to feel something. But if you listen to what these preachers are saying in their totality, the president that she keeps referring to is Donald Trump, right? The amendment that she's referring to is the Johnson Amendment, giving the outlining what churches can do, and more specifically, what they're not supposed to do in order to maintain their tax-exempt status. Donald Trump made it seem like it was the biggest affront to churches, and so he attacked it during his administration. I'm not here to defend the Johnson Amendment, but I just really want people to understand how it is applied differently in communities. Because these white evangelicals have never respected the Johnson Amendment the way they have demanded that black churches respect the Johnson Amendment and respect the separation of church and state. Does anybody recall what happened with Jeremiah Wright? Does anybody recall President Obama's former pastor, the right Dr. Reverend Jeremiah Wright, who preached the sermon, "Goddamn America"? Now, I think it's fair for us to say that Jeremiah Wright was correct especially in light of the fact that we just got through covering how this country, accidentally killed an entire family, including 7 children. So I think it's fair for Jeremiah Wright to come to the stage and say, "Goddamn America." That said, Barack Obama almost lost the presidency because of how Republicans made it seem that it was so critical that we maintain the separation of church and state at that time. But now all of a sudden they're like, what separation of church and state? It's because they're serving a particular brand of Christianity that is subservient to power. When the reality is that our faith, the liberating faith, the liberation theology, man, it's really about turning the system upside down, man. It's about speaking truth to power. These folks ain't speaking truth to power. They're speaking truth to try to maintain power. That's what they're doing over there.
My gosh, today. Brother Ben, you said some words right there, man, and you flipped it on his head. Especially when you said that the only thing, it used to be separation of church and state. Now there's no separation. Y'all, all these evangelicals that we cover all the time, now it's the same exact thing. Y'all make sure y'all pay attention to that. Especially Elvira over here with the little kitty cat heel on, but I digress.
James.
Sorry, I had to get it out.
Because high key, can we not see that these people who are on these platforms across the country every single Sunday, they are preaching a quote unquote gospel that serves greed. Mm-hmm. They're preaching a gospel. It's almost as if there are more evangelicals across this country who would look at me and say, "Oh, he's a socialist, so he's going to hell." As if somewhere in the Bible it said the root of all evil was the hatred of money. Don't the Bible say that the love of money is the root of all evil? And here these evangelicals all across this country are promoting a theology that services greed and nothing more. I think we really do see who the Antichrist are on the stage. It's those evangelicals who are wearing that Make America Great Again hat, if you ask me.
You know what? I'm about to load a church organ sound into my bank, my sound bank. That one, and then when you spray that word, you know how I get started.
Or you could drop some trap music, man. I think we did enough. Did we deliver a message enough in time? We got all the stories in. There's some more that's coming up.
Man.
Maybe we'll take a quick 5. I tell you what, let's take a quick 5, and when we come back on a quick interlude, we got another clip from Drew Comments. We played a clip of his yesterday, and it was absolutely brilliant. I want to play another clip today on a little intermission. Our producer was saying something. What was that, Dwayne? Oh, we got Jeremiah Wright. I want to ask evangelical something. Y'all really want to dispense with if you really want to dispense with the Johnson Amendment, then I'm going to go across the country and make sure every single black pastor is preaching exactly like this come Sunday morning after Sunday morning. Run that clip.
And the United States of America government, when it came to treating her citizens of Indian descent fairly, she failed. She put them on reservations. When it came to treating her citizens of Japanese descent fairly, she failed. She put them in internment prison camps. When it came to treating the citizens of African descent fairly, America failed. She put them in chains. The government put them on slave quarters, put them on auction blocks, put them in cotton fields, put them in inferior schools, put them in substandard housing, put them in scientific experiments, put them in the lowest paying jobs, put them outside the equal protection of the law, kept them out of their racist bastions of higher education, and locked them into positions of hopelessness and helplessness. The government gives them the drugs, builds bigger prisons, passes a 3-strike law, and then wants us to sing God Bless America? No, no, no. Not God Bless America. God damn America, that's in the Bible, for killing innocent people. God damn America, for treating her citizens as less than human. God damn America, as long as she tries to act like she is God and she is supreme.
So you gotta understand, that's the kind of preaching I came up underneath. James, we'll talk about this more. We'll talk about this more, because if I keep running, if I give commentary here, we're gonna be going to church. James, take us to the track. We'll be back after this.
You ain't lying, man.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Es mejor llegar tarde a casa que nunca volver a llegar. Es mejor llegar tarde al trabajo que nunca volver a trabajar. Y es mejor recoger tarde a tus hijos que nunca volver a recogerlos. Llegar tarde a donde vayas por esperar a que pase el tren es mucho mejor que arriesgar tu vida tratando de ganarle el paso. Por algo existe el dicho, más vale tarde que nunca. Alto, el tren no para.
Mensaje de Nitsa.
Welcome. We're here with Jess, who is enjoying a cozy night in.
That's right, and she's lighting up... Is that candle?
Triple wick pumpkin spiced? Yes.
Oh, she is setting the harvest mood.
Is that a tasteful autumnal wreath?
Someone's been to Marshall's again.
Well, with quality home decor at great prices, what's stopping her? Oh, and a cozy blanket to top it all off.
That is so fall. Better get to Marshall's.
Fabulous brands.
Feel good prices at Marshall's.
Oh, I like that, baby.
We've been fighting every day now.
Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming. The next like of the night is coming next. Rebecca Azor. Rebecca Azor. I see you gonna be doing. So make sure y'all stay tuned. I should have saved these from Thursdays, having some throwback Thursday set, but we can still do that too, because I got something for y'all.
Better on my own now. There you go with apologies. It's alright. You don't mean it, and I don't wanna try no more now. It's too late. I don't wanna hear you say I'm sorry. It's too late.
From the church to the trap, y'all hear it.
It's alright. See, I'ma walk away 'cause I'd rather be alone now. It's alright. Girl, you better recognize. I got it. I got it. Baby, you don't wanna act right. Give your chance after chance and you blew it. All you wanna do is pick a fight. And I had to be the bigger man, always saying what I don't do.
All right, y'all, real quick while we still got the chance to, let's go ahead and get our new Patriots read off for the morning.
There you go with apologies, it's alright. You don't mean it, and I don't wanna try no more now. It's too late. I don't wanna hear you say I'm sorry. It's too late.
All right, y'all, here we go. New patrons for yesterday. We have Luke K. Shout out, brother Luke K. Help me 08. We have new Twitch subscribers. New Twitch subscribers, we have Chief Boris 007 and Chief Boris 007 also gifted 5 community subscriptions. Divis X resubscribed and commented, "Thank you all and keep fighting the good fight with you all the way to glory. Cheers, fam." They've been subscribed for 3 months, so shout out to you, Divis X. Mimosa Dragon resubscribed and commented, "Good morning." 8 months. Wow, we almost have a baby. Love you live for all you do, man. We love you too, Mimosa Dragon. Shout out to you. Yo, Corey 0071 gifted 1 community subscription. Chicken Fried Dragon. Good morning, Chicken Fried Dragon. Gifted a subscription to Caramel Delight 18. And Rachel Letney resubscribed and commented, "Love this. Can't wait for season 2, like it or not." Oh yeah, it's gonna be this naive. So make sure that y'all stay tuned. Shout out, brother Latif. For his super chat, he said, "Unfortunately, these guns are equally attained straight from firearm retailers as well." Yes, indeed. Pixie on the Moon says, "Turtles are innocent creatures and very cool. McConnell is Satan's bowel movement." God. Pixie on the moon. Oh my God. Jesus, I can't breathe. Oh gosh. J.M. Toombs said the United Snakes didn't fail. They did exactly as they intended. They are just being called out on the evil. Amen. And Zivis X says, I am not religious or have any faith. However, if I was ever to explore it again at Benjamin P. Dixon, the liberation side of life is where I would look. Amen to that, man. Hey, shout out to everybody, man. Thank you all your comments and everything. Y'all are just freaking amazing, man. Love y'all to death. Hey, shout out to my people that's in the chat room as well, too. Wherever you streaming from, shout out to you. Here's another throwback jam from back in the day. A year now is back in the day. Okay, so here you go. Excuse me.
I walk through the fire and it couldn't even hurt me. There's a lot of demons out here trying to deter me. Personally, time wasters are unworthy, so I tell them cut it out like
the Lost Floyd. Good morning.
Not will,
thank you for that. I appreciate you.
Dropping but my foot on the pedal.
And y'all keep me laughing. If I can read half the stuff that y'all posted here, man.
It's the model S and no, it's not a rental. Fresh like Wendy's lettuce, drip so torrential. One flick of the wrist make it feel elemental. I was always meant for greater things.
Courtney, there's something that's right. This is One Law song. When I tell you One Law, whenever he's down there in the chat room, this is the song that he asked for. It's called Call Me King.
It was no mistake. I was gonna be great, born to spit flame, born to acquire the fortune and fame. This was no mistake. This was no accident. As a prince, I was passionate. Life was an action flick, and now my castle extravagant. You see this crown? Yeah, they calling me king now. They calling me king now, but this what I've been about. You see this crown? They calling me king now. They calling me king now. I'll
adjust my camera so y'all can see the crown on my head.
I think I'm the chosen one. All my dreams are coming real. I'm just like a frozen sun.
Oh, the Lost Floyd. Lost Floyd says good evening from Tokyo, bro.
I know I'm the chosen one. Just like James
Bond with the Golden Tokyo is like been one of the places I've always wanted to go to. So when I tell you, I am trying to get there. Shout out to you for tuning in, though. And good evening to you.
There's never no babies, but when I make them, people gon' praise them. I want a little prince and a princess.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna step away off camera real quick because I forgot to plug up my light. And as soon as the show starts, watch is gonna go in. So Dwayne, take me down for one quick second. Let me plug my light in, okay?
It was no mistake. I was born to be great, born to spit flame, born to acquire the fortune and fame. This was no mistake. This was no accident. As a prince, I was passionate. Life was an action flick, and now my castle extravagant. You see this crown? Yeah, they calling me king now. They calling me king now. But this what I've been about. You see this crown?
Shout out to my DJ equipment.
They calling me king now.
Doing his own scratch.
Calling me king now. Yeah, they call me king.
Auto scratch. That's that new
They calling me king now. They calling me king now. But this what I've been about.
While we wait for the show to start, why don't we just light it up a little bit? Ben, you want to light it up some? Ben screamed so loud he broke his microphone. According to the SLP, right, somebody bumped the table. Laura Estrada, thank you for your super chat. Laura Estrada said, can we all admit here in the chat that we have something special and real here? Thank you, family. Love you, Laura Estrada, man. Yes, we do here. Terry Covington, thank you so much, Terry. We appreciate you and love you too. Brother Goku, good morning, Goku. Mary C, good morning.
Look, I'm in line with the stars, I'm in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf.
Alejandro, thank you, sir. He said, is Rebecca on today? She's so charming. Man, Rebecca, she ain't charming. Let me stop, man. I love my sister. Yes, she is.
I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. I'm never so packed for the stack, never lied on the rap. Got a bag from the way that I write. spicy. Do that ass survive, doing 80 to the house. Then I hit her to the sky, change haters on a tirade. Talking to their crib in the face, be still, let that hate stuff.
Alexis Anana, thank you for your comment. I just love this show. It's informational and comical. What a way to start the day. Man, thank you so much for that. We love you.
Try and get grit, but it don't make sense. Cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a carriage cow. I might flip that to the glass house.
Yeah, I like that.
Accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beats with the
Frank
slap
Graham
on my
Jr. Oh man, yes, you have been away for a while. Yes, being gifted me with a brand new used microphone. Shout out brother Ben, man. Ben be hooking the brother up. I appreciate it.
To myself to the page, I don't do it for the praise, love. That's just how I'm made.
From the glass in the mirror, yeah. Do it at me, old man, tryna pass in the fear. You're the first one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I couldn't see that, and he cleared down. Start to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the ad, but it's all fun. We done seen it all, heard it all. Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls, and I still made a curtain call. Here to light it up, lighten up. Heard I'm talking, they ain't right
Elizabeth
enough.
Laws, I love you too, and thank you so much.
Before I left with, I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list. Going past supper when I came for the breakfast. Put me in your prayers, I might put you on the guest list. Young, to me reckless, gold in my soul.
Barbara Ebron, you already know she is. Yeah. All right, y'all, real quick, we got something that we want to play for y'all while we wait to get Like It or Not started. So, Dwayne, roll that clip for me, please.
I asked the doctors on stage what are the long-term effects of the vaccine, and not one of them could give me an answer. Never thought I'd see the day when the YOLO generation would care so much about long-term effects, but no cap, I'ma keep it a bean. I ain't gonna hold you, no arms. Vaccines in general don't have delayed long-term effects. These ain't no different. 1 or 2 shots that induce a natural immune response ain't gonna come back to bite you years down the line. Any adverse effects that could happen will take place in the first 8 weeks, and even those are extremely rare. But you know those commercials where they be like, if you took this medication, then you may be entitled to compensation. Yeah, but those be for drugs people use for extended periods of time. Not a vaccine that ain't do nothing but warn your immune system of a threat. Like if you drink 4 Locos at a party in 2010, you didn't start randomly throwing up 5 years later. Probably had a good time at that party though. First of all, mRNA and long-term shouldn't even be in the same sentence. Because mRNA is extremely fragile. Matter of fact, it's the only thing in this world more fragile than the male ego. Ain't no woman disagree with that. That's why Moderna stored at -4 degrees Fahrenheit and Pfizer stored at -94 degrees Fahrenheit in order to slow down the degradation process. Your body's sitting at about 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, which means getting one of these vaccines is like putting an ice cube on a Foreman grill or a grown man trying to use his wife's shower water. The mRNA is broke down after about 24 hours. Spike protein is gone after about 72 hours. Here for a good time, not a long time, baby. And during that good time, the mRNA has no way to escape the cell cytoplasm to the cell nucleus. So no, it cannot alter your DNA. It's too busy having its polyadenine tail shortened by exonucleases and the de-adenylation-dependent mRNA decay pathway, the nonsense-mediated decay pathway, and some other mechanisms I can't even pronounce yet. mRNA gonna stick around shorter than the dude who asked a woman what she brings to the table. Back in 2011, human trials took place on the mRNA platform of cancer patients. Them same folk doing just fine, many of them raising kids and paying child support. CDC has also recommended pregnant women get vaccinated so they can pass the antibodies on to their babies, like preschool for the immune system. What do they think of next? So that's 30 years of research, 10 years of human data. Best researchers from the whole world. I'm way more concerned about the long-term effects of COVID and them milk crates than I am about these vaccines. Man, go get your shot, man.
Bruh.
Hey, man. Hey. If I had known that was out there, I would have just been playing that for months versus me out here trying to make an appeal like, go get the vaccine, go. Nah, man, Drew Comments got that thing on lock.
Oh, yeah, dude, he has. I remember when I first saw that video, I was like, yo, where's this video been? It's like, he spit some facts.
Right. Okay. You lost me. You know, and I'm be honest with you, like, you know, I like to think I'm smart. That brother start going down the list of all the ingredients. I just glazed over and got it to the beat. Boom.
Right. You did.
At that point, I'm like, I'm going to take his word for it. You know, that and the researchers at the CDC and the, you know, and Kizzmekia. What was Kizzmekia's last name? The sister, the black sister who actually developed the
Moderna, right?
Vaccine. I believe it was Moderna or Pfizer. It escapes me right now, but shout out to the people who are doing the work and the science for Moderna. Yeah, you're right, James. I should just listen to James these days. That said,
oh yeah, that's how I found that out from the Joy Reid clip. That's how that was. Yes. Thank you, David. I forgot.
I mean, listen, it couldn't have been any more serendipitous. Let's roll the clip of Joy Ann Reid as she discusses misinformation and the vaccine.
Hip-hop star Nicki Minaj, essentially she made public her own vaccine deliberation, which according to trusted friends is a better way to describe vaccine hesitancy, which, by the way, is not the same thing as refusal. By doing so, Nicki also used her social media platform and her 22 million Twitter followers to cast doubt on the vaccine to a heavily black audience. Needless to say, both my comments and her series of infuriated responses went viral. I feel like every moment is a teachable moment. And this might be the one that illustrates on Twitter in public how hard it is for us to talk to each other on these two sides of the get the vax, don't get the vax aisle. There's a lot of frustration and anger among those of us who feel like we've been doing the right things to try to end this damn virus, and those who are just plain not doing the things. And those who are not getting vaccinated are mad at us for excluding them from our spaces and in some cases from our lives. So there's a lot of anger out there. What disturbs me are those who care nothing about black communities and who are actually hostile to our interests. I'm talking white nationalist, curious Twitter bugs and chatterbugs like Tuckums and Marjorie Greene and Candace Owens, who leapt out to try to scoop up Nicki and put her on their team, using her vaccine misinformation to try to back up their own phony campaigns, pushing their base to reject the vaccines, while they're probably fully vaccinated themselves. These are the same Republicans and Republican talkers who've been working overtime to try to put vaccine refusal on black people's shoulders. It's not only disingenuous, it's also anti-facts. The data is clear that it is Republicans, and more specifically Republicans who listen to Fox News and people like Tuckums and Margie and Candace, who are the majority of those refusing to be vaccinated. Black Americans are overwhelmingly Democrats, and we poll like Democrats when it comes to our willingness to get the vaccine. So we are not the problem. But that said, Nicki's tweets point out a very real thing. There is still a lot of vaccine hesitancy among black folks. Everything from just being reluctant or fear of potential side effects all the way up to conspiracy theories about the vaccines that are causing people to refuse to take them or just delay. And that needs to be addressed. Let's be clear. There are good, solid reasons for black people to have these doubts. Our history in this country when it comes to the medical and medical research establishments are not good. When we had a sociopath president in office who was manipulating the CDC and the FDA, pushing for a quickie vaccine by election day so that he could assure his own reelection, you could count me among the hesitant. Trump nearly broke the once trusted CDC and the FDA to the point where you couldn't be sure that you were hearing from the scientists and not just the political hacks when either agency spoke. And so, yeah, people like me were real hesitant. But luckily, there have been doctors and scientists who could reassure those of us who were willing to be reassured that the vaccines, once they came out months later, were indeed safe and had been produced without any Trumpist input, whether or not they came through the unfortunately named Operation Warp Speed.
Excuse me.
We didn't have to do our own research because we could literally talk with the black woman, Dr. Kizmakia Corbett.
That's it. I'm glad it didn't go that long. That was perfect, right? Because that's the sister who developed it for Moderna, right? I said it with the most countryest accent I can conjure up. At that was Mississippi in me right there. And I want to make sure, like, this is completely irrelevant to the conversation, but I just like to note that I am still to this day blocked on Twitter by Joy Ann Reid. So I'm not a Joy. I'm not.
Ben, what happened? Were you trolling her, Ben?
Nah, man, I was just, listen,
probably.
No. Well, in my former life, I was a pretty good troll. But that said, no, we clashed with Bernie and Hillary back in 2016. So anyway, I digress. The point is, I ain't got no love for Joy Ann Reid, but man, she nailed this segment though. There's no doubt about that.
She nailed this one, and I'm glad she came back and put this out there because there was a lot of things that needed to be said. And she's right. A lot of people just don't talk about the main things or the main issues and reasons why we have this problem, That's it. But yeah, Yeah, I'm glad she made that statement now. Yeah, but with that said, like it or not, it's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Come here and interrupt my introduction. God,
Oh, sorry. I mean, there's a delay. I'm not really interrupting your introduction. It's our introduction, but there's a delay. So I don't know. But go ahead.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, and with respects to the Queen, welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it.
Today, again, is Tuesday, September 21st, 2021. Rebecca Azor. How you doing?
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I feel like my voice is about to go away. So if it does start, if it does start doing the froggy, just let me, and then you guys could do that too. Like, and then we could get it out.
Because I know I do it a lot, and I try not to. I'm just like, excuse me.
James, you doing it all the time.
Video, Rebecca.
We're reaching deep into our adopted Haitianism. Thank you. Because
you're
welcome.
Do
every time my kids start coughing now, I do.
The ancestors are proud because I bet you then the kids is looking at you like, and then it's helping them take it out. I'm telling you, it's facts. Like it really works. It does.
Right. Agreed.
So what's up? What's up
happening?
This morning? I saw y'all discussing Joyanne Reed's comments, and I didn't hear everybody's.
I was trying to get it in before she got here.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to really circle back because I think everybody's point for that is their point, and so I didn't disagree with anybody. But even if I did, that wouldn't be a problem either. But I'm just glad that a statement was made to clarify. Not that she needed to make one, because I wasn't mad at her the first time. It was just I wanted the stretch of the scope of the whole thing, and I think that she did that. But the only thing that I wanted was this is it. As a person in this space, we can drag somebody for 77 days, or we can highlight them, what they said, and then what we can do is correct the misinformation and start talking to the people who might be following this misinformation. And what she calls it is the vaccine hesitant, the ones that have the vaccine fears, and actually focusing on speaking to them directly. And I think that is the most important, because like I told you, Ben, in a personal conversation, I think it's our duty to do that. Like, forget the celebrities. I'm not saying that does not matter, that they're using their platform. It really does. But Joyanne Reed also has a platform. So it's almost, I understand the numbers are different, but still, if we're hey, listen, to those who have the fears and the hesitancies of getting this vaccine, listen, here, A, B, C, D, get the vaccine. It's going to save your life. Here's why. Yeah. Here's where you can go. Here's where this and that. Because y'all, this past weekend, I don't know if you guys, there are two Haitian women on Wyclef Jean's internet really going head to head, right? They're really going head to head. And it's very disturbing for me to see that, because I'm like, okay, the first time I'm like, okay, I get it. They're arguing, blah, 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 blah. And it went very viral. It's on everybody's platform, American and Haitian. And I don't want to name their names here because, like I said, I'm really protective over mine. But I felt that so much stuff is happening in Haiti, but the focus was on these two Haitian influencers, right? And so much stuff is happening in Haiti, but the focus for Haiti for that full week was on the BS, right? And I'm like, I get it. The first day, fine. Second day, okay. The whole time, they never announced what was happening in Haiti. And they broke Clubhouse records, Clubhouse that nobody goes on. They broke Clubhouse records. And I was like, how are they breaking Clubhouse records and nobody in this room where the numbers are being broken are speaking about the important things that are happening right now with Haitians? And these are supposed to be Haitian influencers.
Okay, Rebecca, I don't mean to interrupt you, because it took me a second, because I had but now when you said Clubhouse, now you got to translate for boomers, but I'm with you now. They didn't mention in all of that nobody mentioned the crisis that's happening with
not a
Haitians?
not a thing. The social media spaces that are very big also took that story and focused on the mess and not what was happening in Haiti until just yesterday.
Of course.
Until just the day before. And that's what happens. And that's what I want to say. When you do have platforms, what's going to be focused on is going to be the mess of it all. But the message that we can give to the people, like we could have used that broken Clubhouse record to discuss what was happening in Haiti. Yeah. Or here in Texas, right here in the United States. We could have the immigration conversation and help people understand what's going on and how they can help, who they can call. And that's why I'd be like, okay, I get it. We highlighted the issue. We highlighted the whatever's going on. But now let's use this platform to inform the misinformed, to give the correct information, to, help people understand what's going on and get them vaccinated as far as when it came to Joy-Ann Reid and Nicki Minaj. Because now everybody's focusing on what? Swollen balls. Swollen balls. And I'm like, this ain't right. But that's why I liked that's the only thing I had a problem with, because that's what happens. And again, y'all can fight me. Y'all can meet me at the door. I still stand by what I said. I will not bully those who are vaccine hesitant.
Rebecca was about to cut me. Rebecca was about to cut me.
I wasn't about to cut him.
I was going to cut you.
We're not going to agree on it. And I get it. Everybody's not going to agree on everything when it comes to this vaccine. But we can have a conversation. What's that?
Something that I learned from you. No. Yeah. No. We anyway, boy, I can't tell everything on air, but yeah, James, I really do. Man. The thing I learned from you, Rebecca, and more so actually from Joy-Ann Reid, I learned what not to do when you fancy yourself wanting to intersect with pop culture. Don't go out there lecturing these folks. Because you might have to, because what happened was Joy-Ann Reid did get chin checked too. And so she came back with the full package, with the full conversation that you were saying that she should have had from the beginning, because she too has a platform and a responsibility. So for me, I just took some inside notes. Note to self, if I ever have to come for somebody in pop culture, slow down and think about it. That's all. Because
what happens is you may have to turn around and do that. And not that, like I said, I didn't have a problem with her even calling Nicki out, but having the conversation. What happens is you stop there. Now it's like enemy of the world. And then what did Nicki do? Enemy of the world. It doesn't help, right? But Nicki is wrong for how she, stretched that out and whatever. But at the same time, it's like, we all can't have no conversation. I do not want to be in a place where I can't have no conversation with folks on, if they're asking me something and I can't have a conversation with them because I'm like, because of you, my grandmother is sick. Because of you, and it's somebody that's asking questions, and I could get them together, and I can get them together. The way that Joy-Ann broke that down, it was getting everybody together, putting information out there. What better way to clear somebody than clearing them with receipts, the right information?
Exactly, absolutely.
The receipt.
And then because of all of that, y'all know that they did a protest here in Atlanta, the Nicki Minaj fans. We're not gonna get into it. It was a whole fool, and I'm just like, come on, y'all. I said we're not gonna get into it because y'all know I spent all day on it. Because why the hell is y'all listening to Nicki Minaj? She raps, "I'm stop." Come on, y'all. She's already said she's a monster.
Listen, let me tell you what
Nicki
I did.
Minaj said not to get the vaccine. We don't trust the CDC. I was like, if you don't take your behind home, what are y'all doing?
If you don't go somewhere and go get COVID, what's the next story? Let's move on.
They outside getting COVID outside of CDC. Outside of CDC.
The full version of COVID, not no 1918. They get COVID one, child. What's up?
It was too much. I'm like, are you guys serious?
Flag on the play.
It's too much. But this
unnecessary roughness.
This is what ricochets off of that, because I'm telling you guys, all of that
25-yard penalty, bro.
All of that pressure that was put into the social media space for days and days and days and days could have went into informing the misinformed. That's just how I feel.
Absolutely.
Yes, do what you need to do on day one, but it didn't need to stretch out to what it was. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of times we do focus on just kids is dying over here. People in Haiti just are suffering like nobody's business. Immigrants is under a bridge for like 2 damn weeks. Crazy.
I want to tell you, I love y'all to death, Rebecca. That was just amazing.
Yeah, it's too much. It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Rebecca, we love you, sis.
Love you back.
Oh my gosh.
Where's my order? Does anyone know how to find my order? How can I find my order? Break free from customer support monotony. Welcome to Intercom, the customer support platform that uses chatbots, shared inboxes, apps, and more. Intercom's business messenger resolves questions that can be answered automatically, so customer support feels less like Groundhog Day and more like help is on the way. Go to intercom.com/support to learn more.
Life gets more magical when you dream. So dream of a Disney cruise filled with magic and wonder.
Hiya, pal!
Sail from Florida to Disney's private island paradise and get ready for a dream come true with Disney Cruise Line.
Now, I don't want to. I'm not going to steer the ship, Captain. I'm going to step to the side. I'm going to be your number one here. Star Trek reference. So you tell us which way you want to go, because with this kind of joy that you just fostered, I'm loath to have to move from it. But I mean, there's some stuff.
We've definitely got to cover.
Stuff that we saw yesterday was about have me,
So let me tell you.
Yeah.
After getting off of the show yesterday, there were a lot of images coming up yesterday when we were discussing the Haitian immigrants under the bridge in Texas, in a isolated town of Texas, and discussing how immigrants are being treated, Black immigrants, particularly here in America, how they're treated, African and Caribbean immigrants. I said specifically when I say Caribbean, mostly Haitian immigrants, and they're under this bridge, and how they're treated in America is trash. This is before the bridge situation. But yesterday, after coming off of the show, these images, you guys, and I almost wanted to resend them to you guys in sepia or black and white, so that you guys can ask me what year these photos were taken. Because if we put them in sepia or black and white, what we get is this really happening right now? This is giving us this is so racist, you guys. I don't know. I want to, you know what, before I say anything, I want you guys to hear from the officials themselves. I hope that you have those thoughts that I dropped from Jen Psaki, press secretary, because I need you to hear what. Thank you so much, David. You're the man. But I need you to hear how they discussed what was happening here. So let's roll just whatever first clip.
What is the White House's message to Haitian immigrants seeking asylum? Is there a place for them?
We extended TPS several months ago and again reevaluated to ensure that we were taking into account what was happening on the ground in Haiti. That does apply to people who are here who arrived before a certain date. We are also surging resources and taking a multi-pronged approach. We've been working with the American Red Cross to bring in much needed resources. We've worked with World Central Kitchen to bring in meals, and we have been expediting repatriation flights, both to a range of countries in South and Central America where people may have come from, and some back to Haiti. That is what our focus is on at this point in time. And our message continues to be, as you've heard Secretary Mayorkas convey, now is not the time to come. We don't have the immigration system up and running in the way we want, including there is still a pandemic and Title 42 remains in place.
No matter whether it's the people who left, the Haitians that left in 2010 and traveled to South America and now trying to travel here, or the ones who left after this earthquake. Either way, what is there for them to go back to?
We have also been working to provide a range of assistance, working closely with officials from the government as individuals are going back to Haiti, to provide a range of financial assistance, to provide a range of technical assistance. That is ongoing.
There are photographs and reports of border agents on horseback using what appear to be whips.
I've seen some of the footage. I don't have the full context. I can't imagine what context would make that appropriate.
Hey,
so Rebecca,
go ahead.
I have so many questions, and I've had so many questions. Like, for one, they've already started deporting them back. Where are they sending them to?
They're sending them to
Where
Haiti.
Exactly are they sending them?
They're sending them to PAP. So when they get there, they're going to be When they get there, they break them apart. PAP is Port-au-Prince, there's 2 airports there. So a lot of people that are coming over to Texas, they're not from PAP, but majority can be, majority we don't know. But we know that there was just an earthquake from the southern part of Haiti. People are going to do whatever they can to leave and go get help. But PAP is the capital of Haiti. PAP is where the main airport is. But they're just going to drop them off, send them on their way. What's being told is that they're dropping them off with $300, 300 good Haitian money. That is translated into nothing.
Whoa. I'm sorry, not $300 American dollars.
No. So
what?
Of course. And this is what they're telling. This is what they're telling them on the ground. These are what the Haitians that have been sent back are saying. So they can say whatever they want in the media, but it is what it is. Where they're gonna go, how they're gonna go back, they're going back to nothing. Most of them. The reason why they're coming here is not for fun. You think they want to come here? No, they have to come here because they think this is the only reasoning they have. If you ask these Haitians, they're going to say, my life here in Haiti isn't the best. I don't want to leave it, but this is what's happening for me. Now, back to this footage and these videos and things like that. When we hear Jen Psaki speaking, right, for Biden, right, she's the mouthpiece for the Biden administration. When we hear her speaking and she said that they need to see the full context of what's happening. I could have went through my computer screen, my phone screen, my television screen. I could have walked with no shoes on down to the White House, risked my life, opened up them doors, found her in this press briefing room and ripped her a new one. Are you telling me when you look at these pictures, you need full context from what you're looking at? Not only is it the pictures, you can watch just a few seconds of the video and see what's going on. And you're telling me that you need full context of police officers in Texas on horses with whips that are whipping these Black immigrants. You tell me that you need full context? That tells me everything I need to know about the leadership in this country. It tells me everything I need to know about white people who watch images like this and tell me they need full context. She even tried to say, like, make it make sense. You say what you saw was clearly unacceptable, but you need an investigation. You need full context of what happened.
So y'all just letting the Border Patrol do their own damn thing. That's all that is. There's no control.
And some things some things are literally understood. Okay, you can look at something and understand it. We watch this. If you watch the video, you can literally see what's going on. A whip on Black immigrants. That is not something that just came out today. That's historical with the boat people. You know, so I look at this and I hear her talking, and then she says, we're dropping them off, and we were getting them back home. It is not the time to come here because we don't have our immigration policies, in order, and we have the Red Cross assisting them. The Red Cross assisting these people. We already know what the Red Cross has done. Not a thing. 6 homes with the millions of dollars,
hundreds of millions, if I'm not mistaken.
$500 million.
Raised the bag.
And this was for the first earthquake. They've raised mad money in between with other organizations and this and that and that. But somehow the money is not making it. The money ain't making it there. And if it is there, it's not making it to the people. With that money translated into Haitian money, villages can be reproduced, redone.
Yeah.
Food is, they'll tell you there, all we got to do is farm our own food. We've been doing that. That's not the issue. We need shelter, right? We need other things for ourselves. Like it's not that we need food here, but you guys have taken away resources from us naturally. And when I say you guys, the U.S., like they've come in and taken away like some of their farming businesses and things like that, where they cannot eat in certain areas because of that. I talked about yesterday how the Clintons took away the rice farming from them. There's so much that goes into it. And I'm not only blaming the U.S. We have other countries. The fact that the U.S. is going to put themselves into the business of other Latin American countries where Haitians are there and say, assist them with taking them Haitians home. How dare you? It's none of your business. That's why they ain't come here. They went there. Not to say that sometimes even there they still get treated, they mistreatment, but they know damn well they wouldn't make it here. They know my aunts and them are in, like I said, is in Chile, and some of them are getting very much mistreated, but they do compare it. They weigh it out. Mistreatment here, mistreatment there, mistreatment here, mistreatment there. And they're like, let me go and figure out my life. This should not be happening, you guys. And let me tell you something, though, about these Haitians. They going to hold that bag of food. They going to hold them containers. I'm going to tell you that right now. You going to try to whip me. But
Rebecca Azor.
I need to put that in there because what I did watch that, I said, that man said he is not letting go of his food. One thing about us, we not about to be out here hungry for y'all. We if they supplying food, and you can tell these are containers that were given by people who are dropping off and donating.
I can't do it with this woman, man.
Listen.
Please.
Listen, but let's take a listen to what the migrants are saying.
We're having a hard time. Our family sends us money, but we can't eat. We have children, but don't have diapers. Look, now I have to cross to the Mexican side with wet money to be able to buy things for the child, and we have nothing. We're unable to eat. I need help with everything that's happening to us over there because there are a lot of children, and they're only removing the single parents, and the children are left alone. Just imagine.
We've got our families inside, dying of hunger. We've had to go out to buy food.
You can see the tense scenes here. The Border Patrol are trying to stop people getting back into the camp after they went across to Mexico to get food, they say, because there isn't enough food for them actually there in the camp.
There's little in the camp for them. Sanitary products? There aren't any. Food? There isn't any either. They don't give you anything. We met Nicholas on the Mexican bank of the river, searching for food and medicine for his family. He hadn't realized until we asked him about it that US authorities are also now flying Haitians back home. What kills me about that is that everyone knows what we Haitians are going through. There's no president. Crime is high. Students can't go to school. There's no work. The economy is down. People can't put up with that. Deportation is not good for us. He said he'd suffered to get this far, on a journey through South America, past gangs and through a patch of jungle called the Darien Gap, notorious for rape and robbery. It was really difficult. I saw a lot of us who died.
Wow.
Rebecca, he was speaking.
Can just real quick, I just want to say that these are, you said migrants, and I want to make sure that people understand these are asylum seekers. What they are doing coming to the border is actually legal. In this country, you have the right to seek asylum. It is a human right that this country recognizes. And everybody who's making it seem like this is illegal immigration, that is the most racist interpretation of this moment. But that's the point. Right? That's what they want.
That's it. But Ben,
Rebecca, can you read that super chat when you get a chance?
Yeah. Asylum seekers from Black people will always be illegal. Asylum seekers being Black will always be illegal. When we see it from other, so I know that they're on social media, they joke about the browner you are, the more illegal what you do becomes illegal, or you have no access to anything, no programs. You're considered more of a thug, and we do see that though. We do see that. And what's very interesting, I want you guys to see, while the reporter was speaking to the Haitian immigrant, you hear that he's not even speaking Creole. He's speaking Spanish. A lot of them speak Spanish. And when they're traveling through these areas, I mean, they're equipped. You hear that these people are traveling through South America. They're going through these areas. This is no joke, y'all. They got kids on their back, food, maybe like 2 pairs of clothing if they can make it to the other side with that. I watched that policeman with the horse literally run right into somebody with the kid.
Yeah.
And then and I said, this is really, and then I don't know what the police officer was saying to the man, but told him, this is what you do to women. You deserve this, or some kind of something that he stated to them.
Yeah,
and that's why and this is why I say, like, there's nothing. Just what are they doing? Just scattering the people around. It looks like they're just scaring them and they're whipping them. This is giving slavery. This is giving like literally slave patrols on like I don't accept this at all.
It's indistinguishable from that.
All because these people are looking for it is all, and I'm telling you, if we put that in sepia or we put that in black and white, we wouldn't know the damn difference. And all because these people are looking for asylum or coming here for asylum, are looking here for some kind of protection. The protection order is still there. They asked her, they said, but isn't TPS still, Jen Psaki, her being Jen Psaki, reporter asked her, isn't it, still TPS in order? Well, now if you didn't come at a certain time, we got to really, so now you see what I'm saying? When it comes to black folks, they're always going to find some little gray area, something to try to make it seem like they don't belong. And then the fact that they said, do not come here. This is not a good time. But America out here is trying to open the borders. Remember, they will open doors during COVID for everybody, right? Everybody can come. Our nation is great. Joe Biden over here wants to get everybody vaccinated because we're good as far as we're going to get better. Our nation is great. We're this kind of nation. Just the few weeks ago or a month ago when all that happened with Haiti, you saw him standing in solidarity with Haiti. Remember when they were running for when they were candidates for presidency, they went into Haiti over there Joe Biden on his knee saying he supports and what he's going to do for them. Hasn't done it. Assassination, said he was going to help. Looks like help is disappearing before, like just in the background. Nobody knows.
Here's how you can help, Joe. Here's how you can help. Right here.
Well, this is the thing. This has been going on for days. And if Joe wanted to help, he would have. He actually just, while everybody was saying, help, stop the migration, let's get them somewhere, just like the Afghans are getting Airbnbs and things like that. Joe Biden was just like, let's get these airplanes on the ground and let's put these people in them and get them the hell out of here.
Can I ask y'all a question? Because here's the rub, right? Here's where, and to be clear, there's no qualms about the criticisms that we would have about anybody. Everybody gets it, including Democrats, including Joe Biden. Here's the thing that bothers me. If this happened underneath the Trump administration, the world will be ablaze with everyone crying racism. Period. Everyone crying white supremacy, with everyone talking about how Donald Trump has unleashed these slave catchers on Haitians. And while I do see some outrage, I need people to understand that this is a part of the Biden administration, and this officer right here that you see is answerable to the commander-in-chief. I need to know who this guy is. Because for him to feel so cavalier to get out there with a whip and put it to another human being and a black person, I think there's some accountability that needs to be had.
It's accountability, period. And the fact that Jen Psaki literally looked at it and said, I need to know the context. Oh, Ben, I was about to just say something, but God, clear my heart. Clear it, because I swear.
Reach out your hands across the screens now. No, I'm joking.
I really don't. Like, that shook my spirit, something crazy. And I was like, God, ancestors, pull up or I'm going to do it. Seriously, because that ain't it. You telling me you looking at this video and you don't see what's going on here? I understand that the way they're coming in may not be okay. They're coming in and we're like, okay, the borders, This is an isolated town in Texas. Ain't nobody there. Ain't no houses there. It's an isolated town in Texas. Somebody done told them to pull up over here and wait a little bit. We're going to figure it out. Almost like we're still dealing with this. It's almost like how people were assisting the people with the Underground Railroad, giving them paths to go to try to find their freedom somewhere. These people are coming from a whole other country. If you think their lives were good in Haiti, and I wish I could encourage.